220 Ministries, and one of the groups of false teachers that you have seen me interact with is the Hebrew Israelites, or also known as Black Hebrew Israelites. I know they don't prefer that term, but I'm using that as a way to identify who I'm speaking of, because sometimes people get confused and think I'm talking about those that are over there in Israel, or different understanding of who a Hebrew Israelite is. But when I'm speaking of this group of Hebrew Israelites, this group that you will see on the streets saying that blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos are the true Israel, is what they profess and claim. But one of the things that I think is very serious is the fact that not only are these false teachers perverting and twisting the Word of God, their main leader in the GMS camp, which is the Great Millstone Camp, the ones that I deal with mainly here in Cleveland, the GMS Cleveland branch. Their main teacher, the self-professed Apostle Tahar, has made many false prophecies, many false prophecies. And the scriptures are clear. In the Old Testament, we see in Deuteronomy 18 where it speaks of, if someone comes and says they're a prophet of the Lord and they speak things that do not come to pass, you don't have to be afraid of them, because they're not a true prophet of the Lord, because the prophet of the Lord is not going to say things of the Lord or from the Lord that will not come to pass. And also in Deuteronomy 13, it speaks of what to do with someone who is a false prophet, and it speaks of putting them to death.
All right, we heard what he's saying now, right? The first thing is, those so-called Jews that are out there in Israel now, nobody calls them Israelites. Nobody calls them Hebrew Israelites. Nobody out there knows them as Hebrew Israelites. Nobody does. They know them as Jewish people. So right there, right then, he's already making up lies. Not one single time have you told me, or have anybody ever told me, those out there people are the Hebrew Israelites. No, from day one when I went to church, everybody knows them as Jewish people. The Jews. That's what they know them as. So he's already twisting things up. Let's go back. What did he say?
Claim. But one of the things that I think is very serious is the fact that not only are these false teachers perverting and twisting the Word of God, their main leader in the GMS
So he's already twisting what we represent, right?
camp, which is the Great Millstone Camp, the ones that I deal with mainly here in Cleveland, the GMS Cleveland branch. Their main teacher, the self-professed Apostle Tahar, has made many false prophecies, many false prophecies. And the scriptures are clear. In the Old Testament, we see in Deuteronomy 18 where it speaks of, if someone comes and says they're a prophet of the Lord and they speak things that do not come to pass, you don't have to be afraid of them, because they're not a
And he said Deuteronomy 18.
many false prophecies, many false prophecies. And the scriptures are clear. In the Old Testament, we see in Deuteronomy 18 where it speaks of, if someone.
All right. And I'm going to take you to Deuteronomy 18 because I want to make sure that that's what he said.
Apostle Tahar has made many false prophecies, many false prophecies. And the scriptures are clear. In the Old Testament, we see in Deuteronomy 18 where it speaks of, if someone comes and says they're a prophet of the Lord and they.
All right. So we hear what he says. Now let's get into some scriptures. This is Deuteronomy 13. And it's talking about because I want to go back over there.
That I deal with mainly here in Cleveland, the GMS Cleveland branch. Their main teacher, the self-professed apostle Tahar, has made many false prophecies, and the scriptures are clear. In the Old Testament, we see in Deuteronomy 18 where it speaks of, if someone comes and says they're a prophet of the Lord and they speak things that do not.
This is Deuteronomy 13. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign of wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, wherefore he spake unto thee, saying, let's go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. So is the apostle giving us signs and wonders and telling us let's go serve other gods? Or is the apostle actually going into the Bible, going into the Hebrew, going back into history and teaching us what the words mean and what is the significance of a word, and then telling us what is the true name of the Most High, telling us what is the true name of the Son? Or is he continue with these philosophies that this so-called Caucasian has continued to put on us to keep us in slavery? Says verse 3, thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your power proveth you to know whether ye love the Lord your power with all your heart and with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your power and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and ye shall serve him and cleave unto him. So do these churches keep you and tell you, hey, stay here. You're under the grace. Don't follow the laws. Or are they telling you you have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability? Okay? That's one thing. Another thing, GMS is not a cult. A cult will keep you and force you to stay in their camp. GMS is known for kicking people out. A church doesn't kick people out. They want you in the church. They want your money. Understand that. A cult is something you sign up for. You sign up, you stay there, you make a contract with them, and you have to sit there and go every Sunday. You have to sit there and pay their tithes. You have to give unto their ministries. You have to go and be a part of every single retreat that they want you to go, and pay $200, $300, $400 to go to the retreats where you're not going to learn nothing. They give you false prophecies, and they don't even prophesy to be correct. A cult will keep you away from the society. They won't let you venture out. How many cults have we seen? I forgot that one guy who had all that people in there and they did a mass suicide. He was telling everybody that he was Jesus Christ. He went out there and he had a shootout with the police department as well. It was all over the news. What was that, in the 80s, 90s? I forgot when it was. It was a while back ago. But that's a cult. GMS is not a cult. They don't force you to be in this. They actually put you to work. They tell you to study, to read the Bible, to do your videos, to go out on the highways and byways and teach. And if you're not doing that, you're not part of GMS. If you're not teaching the Bible the way it should be taught, you're not part of GMS. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he hath spoken to turn you away from the Lord your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage. They don't teach you that we're in spiritual Egypt, in that house of bondage. To trust thee out of the way which the Lord thy power commanded thee to walk in, so shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee. Matthew 24, 5. Or 24 and 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Another thing, GMS don't allow women in the camps. If you have a husband, you learn from your husband at home. You watch the GMS videos in silence. You don't put up comments. You're not to be seen at the camps. Compared to these churches, they want you, your wife, and your children there to deceive all of you. They don't keep the correct order. That's going off. You're in sin already there, because they allow your woman to be over the man. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. We've been seeing those earthquakes. We've been seeing some of those pestilence rise up. The Black Plagues. All these earthquakes throughout North, Central, and South America. Out in Europe. Volcanoes, active volcanoes. Hailstorms. Hailstorms out in Mexico that they haven't received before. Snow. Out in Europe. In places they never got snow before. Famines, of course. Look what's going on in Venezuela. Look how the United States had kept them from receiving any aid from Russia. Look at what's going out there in Belize. All these countries are going into rising against their kings. And it says all these are the beginning of sorrows. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is the power of their hand. They covet fields and they take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so to oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. They have deceived us since 1492, when so-called Christopher Columbus and Cortez got here. From the 1500s, when they started bringing the so-called blacks over here. When they started transporting all the natives of the Americas to Europe. When they were slaughtering everybody in the Americas. From Gad to Issachar all the way down to Naphtali. Go Google Faces of Death. You'll see images of them chasing all these kids throughout the jungles out there in South America and cutting off their skulls. Cutting off their privates and shoving it up in their mouths. That's what these Caucasians were doing. They don't give a damn about you. They took all these lands by force. How do they oppress your house? By putting the women over you. By telling you you can't do certain things that you're accustomed to do. Now all those customs that and your heritage that you knew, the Most High has destroyed that all from us. He told us he'll make sure that we were destroyed until we know not who we were. Why? Because we went off worshiping other gods, other idols. Of silver, of gold, of wood, of stone. But they don't teach you that. They want to teach you that they're the Messiah. That they're Jesus. That they're white. That our power looks like him. But they're wrong. They don't want to go off the scriptures. They just want to say, well, he could be dark. He could be of a Middle Eastern, but he could be this, he could be that. No. Hamashiach, Yahushai, is from the tribe of Judah. Through the seed line. He comes from the tribe of Judah. Dark-skinned man, woolly hair. So-called blacks. Second Corinthians 4:1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of Yahweh deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of Yahweh. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. So all you 2/3, all you wicked 2/3, of course you're going to fall to the trap of these motherfuckers. Keep vigilant. Keep watching. Look for the signs. They don't even know when the Sabbath is. We know when the Sabbath is. It's not a Saturday. It's not a Sunday. It falls on according to the moon, according to the sun and the stars. That's our calendar. That's our signs. Those are what we're supposed to wonder and look at, and to keep ourselves knowing what's going to happen. See, and that's another thing. We're not supposed to worship the sun, the moon, or the stars. That's where our people go off as well. With that, I want to say shalom.